Recently, gaming has just been absolutely depressing. I think it's time to be honest. It's not the same as what it used to be like, is it, playing video games? Playing video games used to be absolute paradise. It was like being hooked on drugs. Well, not like I know what that feels like. My point is, it's not like being hooked on drugs anymore. And that's a problem. The question is why? Why is it depressing now? Playing video games just isn't the same, and I genuinely feel like I'm on a massive gaming come down.
Fortnite.
And no matter how much I play video games now, I'm just not getting the same hit. You know what I mean? I'm not getting that buzz feeling from getting high off video games anymore. In fact, I'm getting the complete opposite. This is what my gaming experience is like now, and how I end up depressed from gaming. I decide to come home and load up my favorite video game. It sounds like a great idea, and I'm having fun playing this game for around 20 to 30 minutes. And then, there it is. That feeling hits me. Why am I playing this game? Why? My life is worthless. Why am I playing this video game? I genuinely hate my life. What am I doing playing this fucking video game? I told myself that I wasn't going to play this shit, and yet here I am. I could be doing so much more productive things right now than playing this video game. Come on, man. I'm 26 years old. I need to get rich. What am I doing with my life? It's 7 PM, mate. You haven't ate anything. You've had no calories apart from 3 cans of Iron Brew. Oh, I'm back in work in 7 hours as well. Fuck! So yeah, that's how it usually goes. I went from being a very happy child playing video games to being a very sick mental patient that keeps doing the same mistakes over and over again. Video games used to be an escape from reality, and now I'm finding myself escaping from video games with reality.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
And you know what the funny part is? Reality sucks. Like, reality isn't good. And if I'm escaping video games to go and get a bit of reality, then video games are well and truly cooked. Nah, you know what the funny thing is? I don't even think it's video games that's the problem. I think the real problem is us. Because just think about it for a minute. When you look back at that time where you had greasy hair covered in Dorito dip and haven't seen sunlight for 3 days, you was like younger back then. You know what I mean? You could get away with that. But as you get older, you realise that just ain't acceptable for a adult. And that's a problem, because that's what made video games so good. The degeneracy of it all. Sat in my room and not talking to a human being. Any human being that came in my room, I screamed at him and threw a fucking shoe at their face. Get out of the room. Gaming is commencing. But you can't get away with that as you get older. And it really is a shame. No, but genuinely, that's where I think most of the depression when playing video games comes from. You've got to remember that we are getting older now. Like, things that were acceptable back then are just not acceptable now. So no wonder when we play video games, we feel like we are wasting our time. Because the truth is, we are. Gaming just doesn't have that much of an importance in the real world as you get older. And what happens when you start doing something that you know is a waste of time? Well, you get depressed. If you look around and you see the people that are still enjoying video games like to the max, it's usually the ones that are just losers. I hate to be toxic, but it's true. You've got Big Johnny on the builder's site that's 55 years old, coming in at a whopping £450, not had any connection with the opposite gender for around 30 years, and he comes into work every day explaining about how he enjoyed staying up all night playing video games. Do you see the problem? The people that enjoy video games are just the ones that have no ambition. The reason why you're depressed is quite obvious, because you have ambition and you know you shouldn't be playing the game. You know for a fact that arguing with Vladimir Madamedov that's 5,000 miles away from you over a game of Valorant is a complete waste of time. No matter how many English curse words you throw at Vladimir over the game of Valorant, it doesn't fix the fact that you can't pay your bills and you have no girlfriend. So it's just a waste of time. And you know that, and that's why you get sad playing video games. Not only that, but it's not very easy playing video games anymore, is it? Back when we used to have fun playing video games, it was fun. You know what I mean? Video games was something to relax, you know, take your mind off of that stressful job that you hate. Some of the stress that I have encountered in video games in the past few months, I'd rather be doing a 12-hour shift. Everyone wants to be a pro. Everyone wants to be a streamer. Video games ain't just for fun anymore, is it? There's actual money on the line, and there's an opportunity to turn this into a job, which is absolutely terrible for the average Joe returning from work after a 10-hour shift. Poor fella does not stand a chance. How do you expect 33-year-old average Joe, after spending 10 hours in a sweaty warehouse, to compete with someone like this who hasn't been off the game for 16 hours? Poor old average Joe is going to have a stroke trying to keep up with this. I'm nearly having a stroke just watching it. So we're slowly understanding that gaming depression mainly comes from life kicking us in the face, getting older, getting more responsibilities, and also being absolutely washed. Most of you won't want to admit it. You think you're still in your prime. You're not. I want you to think back to when you would say peak gaming was. When was the peak enjoyment for gaming? Whatever the answer is, well, that was your prime, I'm sorry to say. Now, of course, for most of you out there, the reason why you are gaming depressed is gonna vary depending who you are. Maybe nothing that I've described up to now is the reason why you are gaming depressed, and that's okay. That probably just means that you are just a depressed piece of shit. I'm only joking. No, but I'm not joking. Most of you are just depressed. Whether that's because you can't get a girlfriend, whether that's because you broke, whether that's just because you don't want to exist. They're all pretty legitimate reasons not to play a video game. But this is my point. If you are depressed in the real world, then obviously you're going to get depressed when playing video games. It's like when people get depressed and then go and drink alcohol. You're not fixing the internal problem. Video games should be treated like burgers. Burgers are nice. They're nice in moderation, you know. One burger a week, maybe 2 burgers a week if you're lucky. But as soon as you start having 7 burgers a day, you just end up depressed and very, very fat, which isn't fixing anything. Look, I know you came to this video to try and find out why you're actually depressed from video games, and the answer is because you are depressed. It's just the truth. On top of that, gaming, the entire gaming industry, let's be real, is just a show. It's not as good as what it used to be like. Gaming is now a opportunity, a career opportunity. For the average person that wants to hop on and play video games, it's just not built for you anymore. And if you are playing video games just to distract yourself from things in the real world that you can't be bothered changing, get up, you lazy is what I'm trying to say. Get up, you lazy bastard. There is a very famous saying that I have always lived by, and that saying is simply this: the regret that you get from not doing something is far worse than the pain of doing the actual thing. When I came to the reality that I was using video games to distract myself from doing stuff in the real world, that's when I became happier playing video games. That is the truth. If you want to actually start enjoying video games again, go and fix everything in your life, like I've said, and then try and return to video games, and you'll probably enjoy them because you won't feel worthless. And not feeling worthless is pretty good.